Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to this IC Markets webinar, Winners and Losers in this Unusual Commodities Market. My name is Chloe, and I'm from Trade with Precision, and I'll be with you for the next hour having a look at the commodities markets. First of all, before we get started, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to read through this usual disclaimer slide, risk disclaimer slide. So I'll just give you a couple of moments to have a look through that. And once you have done so, then we can get started with the webinar. Okay, hopefully that's enough time to have looked through that slide. Just by way of apology, as is usual at this time, I'm not sure where most of you are around the world, but I myself am in the UK at 7 p.m, which is toddler bedtime. And the perils of working from home these days is that toddler bedtime is just next door to my office room. So if any of that sound does carry through to you guys, I can only apologise. Hopefully there won't be too much screaming. He's been a little bit off colour this week since his immunisations, so apologies for that. So a little bit about myself, for those of you who haven't had a webinar with me before. I am a trader based in London. I've been trading for the last 12 years. I am predominantly a trend-based or momentum-based trader. I'm a technical trader and I trade predominantly with the major market flows, so momentum and trend-based trading using technical analysis. I trade a lot of different markets, from Forex to commodities to indices to stocks and shares, cryptocurrencies, pretty much anything that is moving in the right kind of way for my analysis. I will trade it within reason. And I trade across several different time frames as well. So I do a lot of swing trading on the 4-hourly and daily time frame to build up positions, but I also do intraday trading on hourly and 15-minute time frames as well. I would say that at the moment I've settled on the 15-minute time frame pretty much as the lowest time frame that I will use for my trigger chart. I just find that it gives me still that little bit of kind of relaxation time before entering any trades. It means I don't make any snap panic decisions or anything like that, but it is still a small enough time frame to get a really nice reward to risk on a lot of trades on an intraday basis. So that's a little bit about myself. Well, let's go through the agenda for today. So we are going to be, oh, apologies, just jumped a little bit there. We're going to be going through we're going to be looking at the commodities markets, and we'll have a look at some recent important moves in those commodities markets. We're going to look at some critical support and resistance levels to watch out for. Now, this is one of the key things that I do in my market analysis. So as I said, I'm predominantly a trend-based trader, and support and resistance levels are absolutely crucial for my trading, both in terms of entry and exit of trades, but also just to give me a roadmap of where a particular instrument has come from and where it might be heading to. And then we're going to look at potential winning trades on multiple time frames. So we will do an analysis on multiple time frames across those commodities markets. As usual, if you do have any questions as we go through them, please do feel free to pop those in the questions box. I'm more than happy to answer as many questions as we can get through in the time that we have. And if you do have any questions, then I have no doubt that other people listening will benefit from the answers to those questions as well. So do make the most of that ability to ask questions. I'm more than happy to help if I can. So with that all said, I think it is time to get started. So let me just bring up my platform here. Okay, so you should have my platform visible. So I'm actually going to start by looking at the few commodities that are very, very frequently traded and very popular to trade. I would say the most popular commodities to trade are probably crude oils and gold, and also silver to a certain extent. We are going to look at more markets than that, so I'll have a look at silver as well and some of the other precious metals. And of course, anything that you request, I'm more than happy to look at. There are plenty of other commodities available to trade as well. So to start off with, let's go down. So to have a look at all the commodities available at IC Markets, we can just scroll down here and we get to the section for commodities. So we've got Brent oil, we've got natural gas, we've got WTI crude oil, and we've got, we should have silver somewhere. That's silver against the Australian dollar, but we should have silver against, let me just see. Let's just have a look here. Oh, for some reason, silver against the US dollar is not showing up on my platform, which is a shame. I'll have a look on the C Trader to see if it shows up there. Anyway, to start with, I'm going to look at gold. And on gold, this is the monthly time frame, and the monthly time frame is where I start off looking at horizontal levels of support and resistance. Now, you might notice that I've got a few horizontal levels drawn on here, and they're all relatively close to price, by which I mean they're not actually that close to price, but by which I mean I don't need to draw levels all the way down here at the bottom of my screen, because price is nowhere near that level. It would take several months, if not years, for price to return to that level probably. What I do have is on the monthly time frame a couple of important levels beneath price and a couple of important levels above price based on this monthly time frame. So starting off from over here, there was a lot of support and resistance in a similar kind of area to where price is now back in 2011, 2012. So I've got a support level drawn in at around 1530. That's the bottom level of support that we can see here. The next level above that is actually based on more recent price action. So that's based on 2020-21 price action here. It's or it did act as a strong level of support back then. So that level is around 1680. I've got a level slightly higher than that, which I'll show you on probably the weekly time frame. Then the level just above price is based on these highs over here from back in 2011, 2012. That was a triple top. That was a real barrier to price action. And once price pulled back off that area in 2012, it took another almost 10 years for price to reach back up to that level and then break that level. So that is an important level of horizontal resistance. That's at 1800. And then the next level of resistance above that is where we have pretty much what was the all-time high from 2011. It was the all-time high until 2020 over here. So price had never been higher than that until almost 10 years later over here. So those are the four important horizontal levels that I've got drawn in on a monthly time frame. And the reason that I do that is because it really gives me a roadmap of, with my trading, I always try and think of it as an either or situation. Either price is going to go up here or it's going to go down here. Either price is going to do this or it's going to do that. So with this roadmap, I can say that either price is going to get to the next horizontal level and break it, or it's going to get to the next horizontal level and bounce from it. Either way, whatever happens at that horizontal level, I have got it on my chart and I'm waiting for something to happen. Once that something happens, then I can react to it and trade accordingly. So having this roadmap for me is really, really essential to my trading. So then once I've got my strong levels on the monthly time frame drawn in, I will sometimes fine tune them if necessary on the weekly time frame. So this is where I have this kind of intermediate level. It's on around 1725 on my chart here. That intermediate level is because there was some potential resistance at that level just here, some support there. There's been support just over here, even though it's not an exact touch of the level, but obviously price has reacted around that level. So it was the most kind of recent relevant level to current price until just recently. So you can see it's just this week that price has broken through that level. And now I would be looking at that as a potential level of support, given that it's this previous high. If price does decide to pull back, form a higher low, it could be a level of support, it could be a bounce area that I could potentially use as an area to look out for a long trade before price action continues upwards, perhaps to this next horizontal level. So that's why that level's there. It's not one of the strongest horizontal levels, but it is relevant because it's this previous high and it's a potential area that price could come back down to. So back to the weekly time frame, we can see the levels in play here. So price was in a downtrend recently. So from kind of March of this year all the way down to October, really, it was in a downtrend, and it broke down through several significant horizontal levels. It broke down through the 1800 level, it broke down through the 1680 level. So that's significant. However, since breaking down through that 1680 level, actually it's formed a bottom here, it's found support, and the buyers have found a way back into the market. So the buyers have now pushed price higher. They've pushed price to a higher high. When I say I am a trend-based trader, in my analysis of trend, I'm always looking for higher highs and higher lows, or lower highs and lower lows. And that gives me an indication as to what direction the market is moving in and what the trend is on that particular market. So over here, I have, let me just change the color of that, bear with me. Over here, I have a series of lower highs and lower lows on this weekly time frame. Then at this point, I actually have a triple bottom. This low gets hit the same low pretty much three times, and then price comes up and it breaks above this previous high over here. So I now have a higher high, and I'm waiting for a higher low. I don't yet have a higher low because this is pretty much the same low over here, but I'm waiting for a higher low. And that's why this level here is relevant, because potentially price could pull back down to this level. That could be a higher low, and then price could carry on. And that's a potential prediction of what price might do next. And if that does happen, then I'll be ready and waiting for a long opportunity around this area. Alternatively, of course, price could simply carry on to this next level of resistance, and then it could pull back. And in that case, it could pull back to this level and move off again, or it could pull back shy of this level. If it gets up here, maybe it's going to do a shallower pullback and then head back up there. Maybe it's going to break through this horizontal level. Maybe it's going to stop at that horizontal level. Who knows? But what I do know is that this is my roadmap. This is what I'm waiting for. So I'm either looking for price to go straight up to this horizontal level. If that's going to be the case, then on some lower time frames, there might be a trade, and we'll have a look over on the lower time frames in a minute. Or at the moment, price is going to pull back, in which case I need to be looking at this level for some trading opportunities, and they're more likely to be swing trading opportunities on the higher time frames. For example, here on the daily time frame. The next thing to look at is what's going to happen at this level here. Is price going to break, or is it going to bounce? If it breaks, then again, I'll be looking at the lower time frames for continuation trades all the way up. If it bounces, then I'll simply be looking for the next low in order to take a long trade, potentially back up to that point there, because this is at that point a potential uptrend, because we've already got this higher high here. So let's go down to the lower time frames, go down to the daily time frame, and we can see here on the daily time frame the potential possibility for price to pull back, and if it pulls back, then this area here would be where I would be looking for a potential return to an uptrend. If I was looking at a pullback and a return to an uptrend, I would want to see evidence at around this level of price returning to the uptrend bar by bar. So I'd be looking at the candlesticks, and I would be looking for a bullish candlestick in around this area in order to give me an indication that the buyers are about to return to the market. Alternatively, price could simply carry on up to this next level, 1800, in which case I will go down the time frames and I will wait for price to pull back. So perhaps it might happen on the 4-hourly, perhaps it's going to pull back to this area in or around the 10 and 20 moving averages here, in which case I will again wait for a buyer candle to indicate a return to the uptrend. Now at this stage, my feeling is that I would rather have a bigger pullback. If we look at lower time frames, so hourly time frame, we can already see that this price action is starting to lose steam. If I were to put an RSI onto the chart, which is a momentum indicator, I'm just putting the 14-period RSI onto the chart there. Now, what I can see with this is that in the price action, I have got higher highs all along here. However, with the RSI, I'm seeing lower highs for the most part down here. That indicates bearish divergence. Now, the RSI is a momentum indicator. So what that indicates is that the momentum of this uptrend is potentially slowing down. The trend is potentially not quite as strong as it once was. And perhaps we're now due a bigger pullback, which may bring price back down to this horizontal level that I've been talking about. So the fact that the RSI is diverging just suggests that this uptrend is not particularly as strong as it once was, and it might not be the best time to enter a trade on an intraday basis. Whereas if I look back up to the daily time frame, the RSI is actually looking quite strong. The momentum is quite strong on this upwards move, and so a pullback would be part and parcel of an uptrend, and I would wait for a higher low in order to get into the market, and that wouldn't concern me too much. But the fact that this momentum is really slowing down on the hourly time frame, on the 15-minute time frame, there really isn't much of a trend there at all. So on an intraday basis right now, there's nothing really for me to trade. But on a daily time frame, I'm going to be waiting for a pullback and a return to trend. I'll also look out on the 4-hourly. It might be that that could give me an opportunity as well. And really, it will be after the pullback happens. So on the daily time frame, let's just say we maybe get 2 candles of pullback and then 1 buyer candle. After that buyer candle prints, then I will go back to the lower time frames and I will look for the uptrend to resume on the lower time frames and see if there are any opportunities there. So it's a little bit of a waiting game really on gold at the moment, because we have had this quite extended move up after quite an extended downtrend. And so I'm just waiting for that higher low on the daily time frame to confirm an uptrend before really getting into anything to the upside. If price reaches this 1800 level, then I will need to reassess based on whether price breaks through that level or whether price bounces from that level. So that is an analysis of gold. I would like to look at the crude oils next. So I'm going to go back up to the monthly time frame as per where I started on gold, just to show you my important levels on crude oil. Now I've got quite a range of levels here because the price on crude oil has been very, very volatile and has moved very, very quickly in a short space of time, as it does tend to do when there is market news in particular, which of course we have had plenty of this year. So the important horizontal level of support that I have, or two horizontal levels of support I have beneath price. First of all, this level around $77. That was this previous high from around 2018. It was also, so that was resistance then, it was also support all the way back in 2011. So that's a strong major level of support, and you can see that just recently price has actually in the last couple of months reacted at that level. The next level beneath that, bearing in mind that there is the possibility price could come and break that level, in which case I need to know where price could be headed next. So the next level of support beneath that is around $65. So at $65, that's the next level of support. That was resistance from back here in 2018, 2019. It was also support back in 2021. So that level at $65, then there's 77, then there's $85. Now, $85 was a level of support from back in 2012, 2013 over here. It also became a level of resistance next time price reached that level, which was all the way forward to 2021 over here. Price then smashed through that, and there are another couple of levels. The one at the top, around 108, that is a level of resistance based on resistance from 2011 through to around 2014 over here. So that's around 108. This level in the middle is a level based on the weekly time frame. $95, and that is based on this previous low over here. So we saw a surge in the price of the crude oils at the beginning of this year, and then price came back down and it formed this low over here around $95. So that's my my next level of resistance above price. So that's my roadmap of WTI, crude oil. What's price doing right now? Well, right now price is sitting just on this $85 level. We can see this previous high over here where price reacted previously. We can see that it has also been support more recently, and what I'm waiting to see is this level going to bounce or break? If price breaks through that level, then I would be aiming for price to continue on down to the next level of support. So from 85 all the way down to 77, I would be looking for short opportunities, whether that's on a swing trading basis or whether that's on an intraday basis. I would say possibly more likely to be on an intraday basis on this, because it's not a massive distance between 85 and 77. So I'm just looking here on the daily time frame and really just waiting for price to react at this level. What I do see on the daily time frame is I do see, so price has come up from this low at 77, it bounced at that area, which is a strong level of support. It broke through the $85 level, and it then formed a high. Price came down, it formed a low at the 85 or around the $85 level. It then formed pretty much the same high. So again, in terms of trend, what is happening right here is not really necessarily any strong trend. What we've got is the same high on this daily time frame. We do have higher lows, but there is no trend, because quite possibly if price bounces at this horizontal level, it could simply come back up, form the same high again, or it could bounce just higher at this horizontal level, and it could continue to range between these 2 points. Now, this is a daily time frame, so for intraday traders, that's not necessarily a problem, because on an intraday time frame, if price bounces at this level and heads to the next level, on an intraday basis, that actually would potentially look like an uptrend on an intraday basis. So it would still be tradable with the trend. And having the roadmap here just gives us an area to look out for potential longs and an area to look out for potential targets, and potentially on an intraday basis, entry points in between that as well, if we manage to scale into any opportunities on any of these pullbacks. So that's what I would be looking for on an intraday basis if price is going to continue upwards. Really, if price is going to continue upwards, I need to see a bullish candle here. It would have to be, like a long-tailed rejection candle of this level, or it would need to be perhaps a bullish engulfing candle or something like that, indicating that price is actually bouncing at this level and going to head up to the upside, or more likely to head to the upside. The alternative is price could break down through this level, in which case I would want to see a bearish candle closing beneath this level. Ideally, I would like to see price taking out the low of that candle as well. You can see how over here, price did close beneath the level, but then the next candle came straight back up. So we don't want to get caught out with a false break of the level. We want to see that candle close beneath, then we want another candle down here. Then I would be looking for the same thing, intraday trend trading opportunities down to that level of support at $77. So let's just have a quick look at the intraday timeframes. I'm not hopeful particularly that I'm going to actually see any trade entries or even any kind of guide as to when there might be a trade entry on an intraday timeframe, because really the first thing that I need to wait for is the reaction at this horizontal level at $85. At the moment, I don't know what that reaction is going to be. I don't know whether it's going to be a bounce or break, and therefore I can't look for intraday opportunities to the upside or to the downside. So I just need to wait for that reaction to happen at this level before I can move on with my trading on that. I'm going to look at Brent crude as well. So again, we'll go up to the monthly time frame, and I'll show you the horizontal levels that I've got in here. I've got a horizontal level of support around $70. That level of support around $70, the price has strongly reacted at that level. It's quite a long way away from where price currently is. However, the next level up is around this 86.50 level. That was strong resistance back in 2018. It's been resistance again in 2021, and it has also been support more recently in the last couple of months in 2022. So that level is very relevant. And if we go to the weekly time frame, we can just see that next level above price, which is, it happens to be a level of support from this year. We can see how price smashed through that $100 a barrel mark, but then it came down and settled on that level, and really the sellers failed to push price below that $100 level for a long time before buyers came back into the market, pushed it up. Now price has broken back below that $100 level. It can be seen as a level of resistance. Not only is that a technical level, which we have seen support and resistance at, but $100 a barrel is also a psychological level. And psychological level, horizontal levels, can basically just be almost like self-fulfilling, because a lot of traders would simply be looking at that level at $100 simply because it's a big round number, and they would be expecting some kind of price reaction around that level. Therefore, a lot of people will be looking to buy and or sell at around that level. Therefore, price will react at around that level, and therefore it becomes a self-fulfilling horizontal level of support and resistance. So we can see that price has reacted really quite closely with that $100 level here on the weekly time frame. What we can see if we go down to the daily time frame is it's fairly similar to WTI in that there's not really much of a trend here at the moment on this daily time frame, because yes, there's a higher high here, but it's only ever so slightly higher. And really the bottom line or the take-home message is that this is pretty much at the $100 level, and that $100 level is acting as resistance at the current moment in time. So price reaching back up to that level, it's likely that price would see that as resistance again. So we can't 100% guarantee, even though we're seeing higher lows here, we can't 100% guarantee that price is going to continue up past that $100 level. So that's important. It means that price is perhaps more likely to range in this area rather than break through and start a trend. But it doesn't rule out a trend. And that's why looking around this area is going to be very, very important, because if price does break back up through that $100 a barrel level, I will definitely want to be looking out for long opportunities on both the daily time frame as a retest, and I would like to get in around that level, but also on an intraday time frame, simply by looking at the intraday trend and getting into opportunities that way after price has broken through and confirmed that it is a true break rather than a false break of this $100 level. The alternative view would be that perhaps this $100 level is too strong. Maybe price might come back up to that level and bounce again, or maybe price might just head down here and get to that next level at 86.50. Either way, at the moment, I'm not necessarily convinced that I would find intraday trades on that basis, simply because there actually is there is some support down here that needs to be taken into account, because we have support over here in this area as well. So there is still quite a lot of support for price to get through in order to get down to that horizontal level. And therefore, it would be wise to be extremely cautious trading down to that level. So I would much prefer to see a break of the $100 level to the upside, or alternatively, if I were to see a bounce of the $100 level, then that move back down to here is perhaps more likely to yield clear intraday trading opportunities. So let's look at the intraday time frames here. Let's look at the hourly time frame. Now we can see with the hourly time frame that it does appear to have formed a bit of a level of support over here. We can see support just here. We can see support more recently, support over here as well, even though it's glancing through this area, but it is still, the buyers are still coming into the market at this point. But if this were to be really truly broken and a downtrend to start from this point, then I would consider trading. I think the take-home message would be that I would be looking for a more modest reward to risk. I would be more happy to take early profits on the trade to the downside here, bearing in mind that there is still a lot more support. There's support down there as well, and there's going to be some support down in this area as well. So there's a lot more support. It's still potentially possible to trade this on an intraday time frame, because there would be a shorter distance between an entry and a stop loss on an intraday time frame, and therefore price doesn't actually need to move as far in order to get into profit. So it might still be possible. But you can see there that all of those levels I've just drawn in on the intraday time frame really make it quite cluttered in terms of a roadmap of when price might be headed on a swing trading time frame. It doesn't really make it possible to swing trade this to the downside. Does anyone have any questions or any other markets that they particularly would like me to look at this point? Let me just bring up my... Let me just bring up this, bear with me. So I'm just going to bring up CTrader. I'm not sure why. Not sure why the other precious metals are not showing on my. Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I've just scrolled too quickly through or something. I've missed it. But anyway, I'm going to bring up CTrader. So just bear with me for a moment. And we'll just have a quick look on CTrader at a couple more precious metals. So starting with silver. So I'm going to look here at silver. Now I'll start again at the monthly time frame. So silver, we can see, is a I really enjoy trading silver because when it trends, it really can trend quite nicely. However, at the moment, it is not necessarily showing extended periods of trend. So let me just put my horizontal levels on. So I've got a level of resistance around about this, well, support and resistance around that area, and I've got support around here, which is likely to be seen as resistance. Above that point, I have got this support from back in 2011, 2012. So the shape of this chart kind of up till 2013, in fact up till kind of 2015 or so, looks very similar to the shape of the gold chart. And it's just in more recent times that it has not, the price of silver hasn't kind of spiked as high as gold did. So those are the relevant horizontal levels around current price. I'll put this low one in as well, around $14, and I'll put this high as well, around $30 there. So that's my roadmap based on the monthly time frame on silver. Let's look at the weekly time frame on that, and we can see that this horizontal level here is right now being interacted with. So we can see the support from earlier this year, and at the moment we have got what looks like a triple bottom, or at least a slightly higher low here, followed by a higher high. So if I just make that a little bit clearer, so we've got downtrend, we've then got that low there, followed by a higher low, followed by a higher high, higher low, and another higher high. So we've got higher highs up there, higher lows there. So I am more bullish on silver. However, if we delve into the daily time frame, we can see price action more closely. I'm bullish on silver, but this level here, around 21.44, that is a significant horizontal level. We can see the support around there. So the fact that price has broken above that level is fantastic for an uptrend, but I do need to see price really react around this level and the buyers come back into the market to keep price above this level. Because if price gets back below then it's possible that that level would then be seen as resistance, which would impede the reward to risk on any long trades that I might want to take. So on the daily time frame, I do see an uptrend. Even in this most recent price action here, there's the high, then there's the higher high. But I would like to see at some point around here, it doesn't matter if price gets beneath this level, but I do want at least a rejection of that level. It could be a 2-bar rejection, it could be a seller bar followed by a buyer bar, or it could be a 1-bar rejection with a long tail that closes above the level. But I want to see something like that before I look to trade this to the upside. It's also possibly worth noting that gold and silver can tend to move hand in hand. If gold is strong, it's more likely that silver would be strong, and if gold is weak, it's more likely that silver would be weak. But they're not completely married to each other, so they can show different things. But you know, certainly if gold starts making a move to the upside, I would be looking at silver long as well. And this on an intraday time frame, bearing in mind I'm looking closely at this level here. On an intraday time frame, I would also like to look for long opportunities. So perhaps on the 4-hourly, there might be an indication that price is going to return to the uptrend. I would say at the moment it looks fairly bearish in terms of this bearish divergence of both the MACD and the RSI. So I've got higher highs in price action there, but I've got lower highs in the MACD and the RSI. That indicates that this uptrend that started here is running out of steam. And it may be due a bigger retracement than what we see already here. So that's worth bearing in mind in terms of lower time frame trading. Having said that, if price does bounce at this level, then what I would be looking for ideally would be a break above these levels here. Price does continue and regain momentum to the upside. As soon as I see price breaking up above this high here, then I would start looking for long opportunities on the intraday timeframes again. And it's likely that the RSI and the MACD would catch up with that view as well. So it's not for 100% certain that price is going to come down here and pull back just because there's divergence. It might just be that there's a pause in the market here. This is consolidation, and a breakout from that consolidation could be an opportunity to then look for a pullback and then look for a move up. And it could happen on any time frame. So I would be looking down to lower time frames as well, perhaps the hourly. We can really see that very sideways market here on the hourly, but of course it's entirely possible that price could break to the upside, and if it does, I want to be ready with where do I need to see broken and what would I then be looking for. So I would need to see broken this area here, and then I would be looking for a pullback, and then I would be looking for my bullish price action in order to take a long opportunity there. Let me also look at platinum and palladium, because sometimes they do yield opportunities, and palladium was something that I traded a lot back in. If we look at the monthly time frame here, there was such a beautiful looking uptrend here, which really went on until 2021, this uptrend. So that period of time, that was really, for a trend trader, that was the gift that kept on giving. It hasn't been so nice since then. And this is one of the things about trend trading, is it's our job to make hay while the sun shines. If you find a market that is trending strongly, then make sure you make the most of that. It's not necessarily the case that if you take one trade on a market and win it, then that's it, game over. You know, you can take lots and lots and lots and lots of trades over the course of days, weeks, months on a strongly trending market and still make profit. And really that only ends when the trend comes to an end. And when does the trend come to an end? When the market tells you that the trend has come to an end. So over here, let's have a look at the weekly time frame. Might show in greater detail what happened over here. So here was the uptrend. Here was this beautiful uptrend here. That ended there because there was a lower low and lower high, but then we saw the trend start again here. Higher low, break of the high. So at this point here, that's where the trend starts again. A lot of consolidation there, but then a bit more of an uptrend. And then when does the trend end? When we get our lower high and lower low. So at this point then we've got a downtrend. At this point here, higher low, higher high, we've got an uptrend. At this point here, we've got lower high, lower low, downtrend. And now right at this very minute, we've had a lot of consolidation here. And actually on this weekly time frame, I'm more bearish. Let me get rid of my scribbles. I'm more bearish based on the weekly time frame because I do have a lower high potentially forming. I certainly have lower lows. This is more evident on the daily time frame over here. So we've got this move to the downside, then this pullback. That might form a lower high. It might not, but it might form a lower high. We certainly have a lower low because there was the previous low and this is lower. So based on the weekly time frame, I am actually more bearish, but what I would need to see around this area is I would need to see a bearish candle in order to give me an indication that perhaps that downtrend might be about to resume, or alternatively, wait for clearer price action, perhaps a higher low and higher high if there's going to be a move to the upside. So right now on palladium, there isn't really a strong trend to be traded on either a daily time frame or an intraday time frame, but I would say it's always worth having a look at, because if it does trend, it can tend to trend really nicely, as you can see. And you can just imagine that this period of time here, this is maybe a couple of weeks of price action. But if you look at that on an intraday time frame, even just going down to a 4-hourly or hourly time frame, there were probably several decent opportunities there on an intraday time frame. So it's always worth having a look at that. And then the last thing that I want to look at before we finish is platinum. So platinum actually is trending at the moment on the daily time frame. Let's go back up to the monthly just to get a few things with clarity. So I'll put this previous high here is very relevant to me because price strongly reacted at that level, and it's close to where price currently is. And then this previous low over here has been a level of support fairly recently, so that would be a strong level. And then on the weekly time frame, I can see a more intermediate horizontal level of support and resistance. It's been resistance over here, support over here, and that is beneath price as well. So those are my most relevant levels close to price. I would say there's another level of resistance just up here potentially. There's a strong previous high here, strong previous high over here. So that is my roadmap. On the weekly time frame, I have got a higher low and a higher high. On the daily time frame, I also have higher lows and higher highs. So I can see, all of this price action is trending up, higher lows, higher highs. Price is currently sitting just at this horizontal level again. So a lot of these precious metals are sitting at horizontal levels as we speak. I would like to see price form another higher low. It could be in and around this area of the 10 and 20 moving averages. It could be at the horizontal level. Currently, I'm seeing bearish candles. I would like to see a buyer candle printing on the daily time frame to confirm a return to the uptrend, to confirm the end of this pullback and the potential beginning of the next move to the upside. And then I would look at swing trading on the daily time frame, and I would also look at intraday trading perhaps on the lower time frames. With commodities, I must say, and precious metals and oils, I must say I don't tend to trade them on very, very low time frames because the moves can be very, very volatile, and it is possible to make very decent profits on kind of medium-term time frames. So hourly, I definitely personally don't go below the 15-minute time frame on any of these things. So let me bear with me while I go back to here. Just to finish off then, and just to finish off, I'm going to give you the contact details. All of our webinars do get recorded and uploaded onto the IC Markets YouTube channel, so you should be able to see replays or any of the webinars that you do miss up there. And they've got a fantastic customer service team, so any questions that you do have, you can drop them an email. The email address is up there in the top right hand side, along with the phone number. If you prefer to speak to someone on the phone, then they're equally as lovely on the phone to speak to. They've got all of the usual socials. They've got Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you follow them for updates on those socials. And with that, I will wish you a fantastic evening. Good night to those of you for whom it is almost 1 in the morning now. Thanks for staying up so late to listen, and I do hope to speak to you in the not too distant future. Fantastic. See you guys soon.